Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel and project MGB Supercharger. So we are moving forward. In the last video I was running around like a blue ass fly trying to get that finished in a rush, and you could probably tell by how stressed I was looking, but we did get it running, which is great, although we had a few problems, and I think I've solved both of those, and we'll go over those in a minute. But in this video we're going to get on with trying to tune this carburettor and do a bit of timing as well. I've had to go off camera, it's not gone very well, so we'll talk about that, but let's get on with it. And if you've not yet, please hit like and subscribe. It'll do me a massive favour. Thank you. My name's Craig and I'm exhausted. Let's do this. Come on. All right guys, not sure you can see me, but belt, why was the belt coming off? And the belt was coming off because of the tensioner. So the belt comes from the crank pulley at the bottom, through the tensioner, onto the supercharger, and then back down to the crank. And this tensioner pulley was off on the wonk, so because of that being so close to the supercharger, it was coming out of that tensioner pulley and then throwing it off the supercharger pulley. I've done some fettling on it and I've got it squarer, and I've got a straight edge, and I put that straight edge along here, and it's still not quite square as good as I want it. So a bit more work to do with that, but I'm a lot closer, so I'll do that off camera. And it's all about the metalwork. You can't see it, but it's the metalwork where it touches back to the mounting point on the blower itself. So made some progress, but I've had it running, it stayed on. But if I look down now with these two, the incoming belt and the outgoing belt from the supercharger pulley, still not quite square enough for me. So a bit of work to do there, but I'll get onto that at some point in the very near future. Right, the other issue was what was going on with the thermostat housing here. So it was obviously kicking out steam, smoke or something or other, and I was a bit concerned about that. And I've had a lot of comments from you guys on my video about that, and I think you guys are spot on. So when I drained all this down, I drained it down the best I could, but because I was only doing the head and didn't do anything on the bottom end, there would have been some residual coolant still in there, and when it started getting up to temperature, I think that was just flashing off and coming out of here. So as I said in the video, it didn't smell like an exhaust gas, so that's okay. I did all the torquing on the head, I retorqued that down after that heat cycle, so that's all at spec now, so happy about that. And I've filled up the coolant itself, and that seems to be staying at a static level and not being overly sinister. It's only got water in at the moment, so I need to go back and actually change that to proper coolant at some point in the very near future, but it'll give it a good flush. Right, so we'll run this car, but it won't run for long, and then it won't start again. So I've been having to recharge the battery quite a lot to give myself enough energy to keep turning it over and turning it and turning it and turning it. And the clear reason for it not starting is that I am fouling the plugs, so quite significantly, and the air fuel ratio gauge isn't working at all really at the moment. It's jumping about all over the place, and I think that's because I'm fouling that as well, so that will need a clean. But yeah, I've had to clean the plugs a few times. I don't really know what I'm doing in respect to this carburettor tuning. I've done some more research to figure it out. I think I was adjusting the idle screws, but I had the butterfly open slightly, so I need to make sure that I can get the butterfly to be fully closed and then get the idle screws adjusted appropriately. You can see, so I need to give these plugs a bit of a clean and go from there. So we're going to give the plugs a clean, put those back in. Then I'm going to set the timing, because I've not changed the timing from previous, and this car likes to run quite advanced. And as we know with a supercharger, the flame speed from the supercharger is higher. So even at tick over and a slight boost, I'm going to get a faster flame speed. So I think it's firing too soon in the cylinder, so I need to retard the advance a little bit. So we'll do that, and then we'll try tuning it again and go from there. Right, let's give these a clean. Right, what I'm going to do now, guys, is just set the static timing. The beauty with this Tune 123 Plus distributor is I can set it to 0, top dead center, or I can set it to 10 degrees advance, and then I can manipulate the curve such that that can be my static timing, and I can control that. With a normal distributor, you obviously get some advance when you're at tick over, but this I can keep it at 0. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to set it at 10 degrees advance for my static timing, and then I'll have that point in the curve as 0 and we'll go from there. And if you've seen my Tune 123 Plus video, the link up here, go and have a look at that, then you'll see setting the static timing at your ignition timing advance point is the right thing to do to get maximum flexibility out of this. So I've already set the front pulley at 10 degrees. I've already checked that I'm in the right cycle in terms of number one on the compression stroke, and obviously the rotor arm's pointing in the right direction. So I'm just going to show you, repeat what I did before, just to reset this 1, 2, 3 tune plus distributor, and we'll go from there. Right guys, difficult for you to see, but just to reiterate, crank pulley's at 10 degrees before top dead center for one. Valve set to run the compression cycle, so we know we're in the right position. The rotor arm pulling at number one, so we know that's the right case. That's reiterated that point. The rotor arm rotates anti-clockwise, so we need to rotate that clockwise so it takes up the slack. I've taken the black lead off from the distributor to the coil, so it's in setup mode, and then I just need to rotate this clockwise until the LED comes on. You won't see it because it's difficult, but I'll try to show you. Rotate, 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 rotating slowly. There it is. Right, so that's my firing point then, guys. That's going to fire at 10 degrees advance, so I need to tighten that up and we're all set with that timing mechanically, and then we'll do the rest on the app. There we go. So go across the bottom. This goes from 2000, which is 1000 at 0, all the way up to 4000, which is 8000 at 32, but I want 16 and I've got 10 in statics. That means 10 plus 16 is 26, which is what Stuart recommended, so we'll go with that. That's 0 to 16 at 4000 RPM plus the 10 static, so 0 to 26. And then what I need to do here is try to tune this. So what I'm going to do now is turn the throttle cable butterfly valve so the butterfly is fully closed. And then I'm going to make sure these are all screwed out. 1, 2 times each. Actually, I'm going to go 1.5. Keep it lean. Okay, so that may or may not start. And then what I need to do is open these screws up such that the RPM increases but stabilizes. We want a stable RPM at idle, and at idle we shouldn't have anything to do with the throttle butterfly opening here, so shouldn't need to touch that. So stable RPM at appropriate idle figure with these jets. If I can't get that right, then my jets aren't right. So we'll give that a try, shall we? No, that's going to be fouled now. I don't know what I'm doing. Sounds like a vacuum leak. That's on. Fade to black, guys. Fade to black. Yeah, I abandoned yesterday. I just couldn't get it to tune properly. I was getting loads of backfiring and a mad hissing sound, so I've took it all off. I've put some gasket sealant on the inlet gasket ports. That wasn't on there before, so I think it was leaking through there, so that's all now sealed. I've not started it since, so the hissing may or may not have gone away. I certainly hope it has. I'm going to take out the spark plug now, see where we are with fouling, see if that's okay. I want to check where I am with top dead centre as well, if my mark's in the right place. This engine's always need a lot of advance to it, so my build sheet, and the engine's not been changed from my build sheet really, says 13 degrees, but I've always had like 20, 25 degrees on it tick over, so something's not quite right. So we're going to check that. Let's have a look. Right, I've just been using my dial gauge, sat on top of the oil filter housing, and then poked down, touch on top of cylinder 1, and I'm just going backwards and forwards past the markings on the pulley, and that's going away from top dead centre now. If I turn that back round, if I can, then turn it clockwise, it should come back up to about there, and that's the mark on the pulley, and then it'll come back down again. There you go. Yeah, so that mark on that pulley's pretty bang on. Right guys, so I'm hoping this has all sorted it now that I've sorted out that leak on that inlet. So just going to reset this. So what you're supposed to do then, and I don't think I was doing this before, is tighten up your throttle linkage, then back away from it until it stops moving it, i.e. loses contact with it, which is about there, and then turn it in half a turn to open up that butterfly. Okay, which is there. That's half a turn on the throttle butterfly, and then I'm going to turn all these in, idle screws in, so they're bottomed out gently, and then turn those out. I'm going to go to 1.5, given I've so much fouling on here. Then 1.5 turns out. Right, let's give it another start. Tiny bit of choke. Not starting. Why does this thing not start? The fuel's pumping. Crikey O'Reilly. That's all connected. These are all connected. Fuel line's connected and not leaking. Right guys, this isn't working out. I just can't get it to tune. I think that sealing the inlet has worked, so it sounds better, which is a good start. Instructions from Stuart are to have the idle screws 3 turns out, and if I do that I just get plumes of black smoke out the back and loads of fouling. So I've got those screws quite the way in. I mean, even with 3 screws out, I just can't get it to run right. No. Hold the phone here, guys. Ignore that guy. He's far too negative. We need to get this thing sorted. So it's the next day, and I've been doing some research reading overnight, and I'm just trying to copy what people have done before. So there's quite a few people that have done a bit of work on superchargers on the MG forum. So I've had a look on there, and one of the key differences that I've decided to make, and changes I've decided to make, is the vacuum advanced boost retard connection. So I'd put that, as you've seen, into the carburetor mounting plate as a vacuum to the distributor. What people are generally doing is they're taking it from the boost side, so as they get a higher boost they're retarding, which is giving you protection for your engine. So, but there's a small amount of advance for low levels of boost, which is safe, isn't it? So they've done that, and I think doing that will help. I think I've just got a timing issue with this where I wasn't actually hooked up with the VAC advanced. I was getting very limited advanced under tick over at low boost, and I think that now I've done that I'll get a little bit more advanced with low boost under tick over, and hopefully that'll work. I did note actually the other day, I'm not sure if this is with or without the VAC line connected, but I'm sure I had the 123 Tune Plus pressure curve set to 0, but when I was just flipping the throttle I could see the advanced retarding. Now that in itself would be a concern, wouldn't it? So that may be leading to my backfires. It's just not working under any kind of, well, no load at all, just going nowhere at all and being pretty awful. So I've copied the curves for the centrifugal advance, and I've copied the curves for the boost retarding things from some of the guys on the forum. I'll drop their names in the link to thank them, and I'm hoping that this now works better and I'll get the timing right. and on that basis I can start tuning it better. So let's give it a start and hope to God this time it works. I've blanked off the vacuum line I put in previously, so hopefully you get no leaks. Let's give it a start. Stay positive. That started so far. Been a bit of a troublesome week getting this car to run right, and I've been here, there and everywhere and tried many things and done quite a lot of reading, asked for help, and asked for people to come over to help me, to no avail. But I might have fixed it. Well, not fixed it, I've not tried it yet, but I might have figured out what's wrong with it. So, and I think, guys, this has been my problem. Have a good look at that. What do you think might be wrong? I set the float in these. As I said before, this is a used carburettor, so I set the float as part of the Supercharger fitting, and I set this to what Stuart had advised Marty in one of his videos, and he crapped a cream, at 12mm, not realising that Marty's Weber is different to mine. He's got the plastic floats, and I've got the brass floats. And when the brass floats, it should be more like 7 or 8mm. So I've got a massive gap here, which means the fuel is really low in the carburettor, and I think I'm just starving all the jets of fuel, hence it won't run. Reset that off camera, got a bit tricky balancing the closed gap and the open gap, because this tab at the back needs to be moved as well. So getting that to manipulate that and then manipulate this one at the same time. This is everything, guys. If this doesn't work, then I'm totally out of ideas. Right, so that's fitted back on now, and what I want to do is just reset my timing. So as I said, I've been doing quite a lot of research, looking at forums, etc, etc, and there's a gent called James Reed, he's from Canada, who posted on the MG Experience forum asking a question about setting up his 123 tune plus distributor for a supercharger and providing his curves, etc, etc. And the reason I've kind of hooked onto that one is because he's got the same cam that I've got, so I thought that's a good starting point. It might not be perfect, and we'll get to a rolling road to ultimately sort it out, but it's got to be a good starting point. I think he also had the same pulley for the crank and for the supercharger that I've got. He ordered them from Stuart and VMAX got, so that's a good starting point from my perspective. There's also a fair few other guys on that page as well who contribute quite a lot. Adrian Page has done a lot on Supercharging MGB and contributes a heck of a lot if you ask questions on there. So MG Experience Forum, wealth of knowledge. Cheers, guys, thanks for that. So let's get this one back in, and then we'll give her a start. Right, what we got? So you can see the evolution, what James did in terms of where he started and some midpoint, and where he ended up doing some butt dyno type stuff. And then there's some other things here I downloaded from other people that aren't necessarily as relevant but interesting all the same. So I'm going to go for this one, but he's got 0 degrees static. I've left mine at 10 degrees static, so I've modified my curve. Right, let's give it a start. This is my last ditch, guys. If I don't get this to work now, then I'm kind of out of ideas and I will need help. So it could be a joyous or a disastrous moment. So let's give it a go. Please work this time. Come on, be better. It's not started any differently. Great. Right, it doesn't seem that different so far, guys, so I don't know. I'm going to give it a go down the road and see what it's like. Wish me luck. And put you there so you can see me coming and going. No, no. No. What I want to do now is I want to take the belt off and run it without supercharger for a bit. See if I can get it just to run. You know what I mean? Fouled up again. What's going on? I think I need to order some new jets. Let's order some jets. I just can't seem to get the mixture right with it not stalling and not fouling. Every time it's like this. As soon as it starts to foul, I think you just nudge it, aren't you? So, guys, I'm really well. One thing I'm going to try is I'm still really confused about the Tune Plus distributor, because it's supposed to be distributor speed and distributor angle, which is twice, and so I'm going to double all the numbers from James's curve and try and go forward. So this is my advanced one I made yesterday. I'm just going to modify this slightly to see if this makes it any better, because I still think this is a timing issue. So I've still got 10 degrees static timing. So 508 is the number I'm after, so that should be 16 done. But that's not a 500 anymore, is it? It's now 1,000 because I have to double both. So that's 16 as well. Okay, and then 2,000 will be 16 as well. Because, all right, this just doesn't make any sense. So 3,000 becomes 6,000. Done. And then that goes to what was 30. Take away the 10 and double the 20 becomes 40. Becomes 40. This one will be 40 as well. Done. And that's my new curve. So I've pretty much got 10 static and straight into 16, which is 8, which is 18 idle. Feels like a lot. That's what he's got. And then at 2,000, which is 4,000, I'll still be at. It just doesn't feel right, does it? Right, let's edit that again. Change these numbers back to 1,000. 2,000. Put that back to 3,000. Done. Right, we'll have a go with that. Right, so I've taken the belt off. I've tried to tune it a little bit to minimise that butterfly being open and make sure the fuel goes through the idle jets, which I hope will minimise the fouling But I've screwed those out. Those idle jets must be just one turn out, something like that. I need to get some new ones. I think I really do. So we're going to get some of those. What I'm going to do now, I've just cleaned the plugs, so they're clean. What I'm going to do now is just start it and then get going and try and get out of the idle jet part of the carburettor to see if it's the fouling issue due to the idle jets that's causing all the other problems. I've also got the belt off, so I'm going to run it with the belt off. You've seen the advanced timing I've put in, that curve's quite advanced, and I've got the tune facility down here on my tablet so I can make it more advanced or less advanced as we go, but I've not got the supercharger belt on, so let's go. Oh, these brakes need work. Yeah, it's still stuttering and banging bits, isn't it? Yeah, not going very far. Let's try advancing it more. Supercharger belts off. I just can't get it to focus to work. No, there you go. No. Oh, God. I have to ride the clutch, otherwise it's just no. Right guys, that's it. I'm done. I don't know where to go from here. There's obviously some of those jets, so I need to order some more of those in a slightly different size. There's obviously something going on with the timing as well, and I don't really know what I'm doing with this 123 Tune Plus. Am I doubling? Am I not doubling? It's really confusing. And you've seen I've gone quite advanced on my curve there, and it seemed to help, but I don't really want to go any further than that, particularly the supercharger attached, without having more experience about keeping the engine safe. So I need to get some help with that. I'm half tempted to put my stock standard distributor back on and try it with that. It's an option. I guess I'll get some jets ordered, get those to arrive, try the standard distributor, see if I can get that to work. We'll see. But yeah, and you've seen I've tried a lot of things on here in terms of trying to understand what's going on, but I just can't get it to run. I thought I might be able to get it to run reasonably well and then dial it in, but it's just not drivable at the moment. Slightly better with the belt off and advanced, but as soon as you put your foot in it, it's just stalling and wanting to stall, and I think those plugs are going to foul up, so I'm going to get nowhere with it like that. So idle jet first, and then go from there. I mean, you guys have seen what I've done. It's hard for you guys to make any comment around what I could do to figure out what's going on. I'm starting to wonder if the carburettor is a bit of a nagged one. I did pick it up second hand, not used it previously, so there's that. The problem, one of the things I could do is take the supercharger off and just mount the carburettor onto the block and try doing it without any supercharger at all and go from there. But I think I'll get the jets first and see if they're still fouling, and then maybe do that after I've tried that. So that's it guys. I didn't make the car show's tomorrow, so I'm going to go in the Alpha instead. That'll need a bit of a wash later, but that's disappointing. I was really on track to get this there, but I've just stumbled at the last But we will regroup and go from there. I've made contact with somebody. They haven't made contact with me. They're not available until July, so I'll have to wait a few weeks until I can get them. But in the meanwhile, I'll order some parts and we'll see where we go. But thanks for watching, guys. Let's not end on too much of a low note. We have made progress with this. We're almost at the end. We've just got to keep positive and figure out what's going on. I'm sure it's something simple and we'll get it over the line. Cheers, guys. My name's Craig and I'm exhausted. See you next time.